Hi guys, thanks for watching. This is Matt Lemke with Through Gamer Goggles, and today we're going to take a look at the Pathfinder Bestiary 2 in a flip-through review. So you open it up. One of the first things you do, you're going to come to the table of contents, and basically it's an alphabetical listing, the appendixes, and everything for the monsters. Then we have the introduction, tells you how to read the templates, stuff about languages, role-playing the creatures, little bits of advice here and there, how to adjust the creatures, and the sidebar icons, which are important once we, I don't know where it went, my little pointer's gone. So we have advice and rules, which is a die here. I'll zoom in on this. There. Advice and rules, additional lore, locations, related creatures, and treasure and rewards. Those icons are for things that appear up here in the sidebars or down in the sidebars, but it's usually the top right hand or left hand side of the book. In this flip through, we're just gonna flip through, take a look at some of the art, and talk about one or two beasts real quick. So the art in the book is really good. There's a lot of different things that they have done that I hadn't either paid attention to in the past or hadn't noticed or hadn't thought of with things that they can do. Here we're looking at the well, we were looking at the angels. Angels are in the book. Demons, giants, daemons are all in the book. New golems, new archons. There's a new vampire in the book, in a template in how to make the vampire in the back of the book. But there's a couple of other things in the book that I thought were cool. Well, like one of the things that I overlooked in the past or just didn't pay enough attention to was basilisks are dracolisks, and they have a heritage. Now, I don't really remember that in previous editions of any of the games that I've played, so maybe they're just emphasizing heritage a little bit more because it's Pathfinder 2, but with the case of dracolisks, they tend to favor a heritage based off, or favor regions and personalities based off of the dragon that they are closely related to. So, for example, a black dracolisk has a breath weapon that's acid, blue, electricity, green, poison, red, fire, white, cold, and so on. Those are the ones that are included in the book. I'm sure you can create more. They all have petrifying gaze and savage jaws. And then some of the other things, we're going to jump over to elementals real quick because we were talking about art. And I really kind of, well, no, I take that back. We'll look at demons first because they're like right here. And demons are a big part of my game world, so I'm going to share what I can share in just a few short minutes. So well, first of all, there's daemons in the book, and then after daemons, we move into demons, and we have the Babu demon, which is a 6. We have Invidiak, Nabasu, Hezrao, Nalfeshni, Vrolkai, which is actually probably my favorite demon picture. Then we have a Denzian of Lang, which is not a demon, but as we move through, there's devils, of course. A devourer. Dinosaurs are in the book, and there's not like a ton of dinosaurs, but there's more. And then let's move to elementals, because one of the, well, there's dragons, and actually there's a magma dragon in the book. I just want to share with you, here's my version of the magma dragon. My light's not that great, I guess. It's a Reaper Mini that I've been painting for a while. I wanted to get that impression of flaming magma fire dragon. Theirs is a bit darker. It looks more like rock and onyx. But I'm happy. I just wanted to share. Anyway, I'm not the world's greatest painter. but maybe it'll encourage you to paint because it doesn't look terrible. Elementals. So one of the things that they did with the art in the book is they have, I mean, obviously these are different types of elementals. Like this is probably a spark bat. But I've never thought about elementals. When I think of an elemental, I think of the wave of water that a miniature is made out of, or a tornado for an air elemental, or a fire elemental, and they really have a lot of different variances that I never paid enough attention to in other books, but they have a lot more elemental together on the same page, and with 2 pages of it, they actually have different art rather than one elemental look to represent the whole thing. Like this is probably a living boulder, and then this one is a granite liftodont, and then we have the ember fox and a magma scorpion. And then we have the mephits, which I never actually understood how they were elementals. I'll have to read that part of the lore sometime. And the water elementals, they kind of take a serpentine kind of look now, rather than being waves of water. And then after that we go plethora of different creatures. We have new giants, wood giant, a marsh giant, a taiga giant, and the shadow giant has returned, which I'm very happy to hear. And golems. We have carrion golem, ice golem, a glass golem, which is always a fun one to mess with your players. Gorgons, gremlins. I noticed overall, here's Grendel. He's kind of fun. He's a creature 19. He has an unstoppable trigger, or unstoppable, which is a trigger, which when he would take persistent damage, basically he ends up not taking persistent damage. He also has a tooth grind ability that basically when he bites you, he chomps and he does persistent bleed damage and causes wounded 1. Criticals, obviously, it goes to wounded 2. But if he kills a creature with his tooth grind, he heals 40 hit points. And he has 360, so that's not so bad. That's like 5% or something like that. Somebody do the math and tell me. And then there's not a lot of like dwarf races or anything like that. There's plenty of humanoid types, but I noticed that there's a lot of undead in this book and a lot of fae as I was reading through it. Of course, there's things like solars, the dragons, and what's the other one? They're in here. Oh, the evil. They're stemmed from. Anyway, we'll get to them. Oh yeah, there's some more leshy. We'll get to them here. Here we are, lindworms. This is what I was just trying to think of. Dragon-like creatures, or they have a heritage of chromatic dragons, but basically they have incredible intellectual abilities, but they have an insatiable hunger and desire to inflict cruelty on others. So they could be a fun one to be a bad guy, behind the scenes, pulling stuff. Lots of different story opportunities there. We have more. These guys are fun as an undead. They are basically a serial killer, a soldier who became addicted to killing, or an assassin that didn't really follow his code for killing, and then there's too many souls on their hands, so they become undead, and this is what they become. Morlocks, mummy bog, nagas. I forgot that they're back in here. There's a Nixie, Lorns, Knucklecleave, which he's a fae. The Oni, which was, in my opinion, a very good addition to this book. I did not foresee that when it was being printed or when I heard about it. And we have Planner Scions. Then there's a lot of different things here that, repeat. If there's anything out of the book that you actually want to know about, just let me know in the comments below. Quicklings, ravens, Actually the meanest looking badger that I've ever seen in my life is pictured in this book. And that's right here. Ish. Look at that thing. It's a vampire. It's a vampire badger. Raveners and Revenants. Salaka. The next thing that I want to go into over some detail is the well, okay, we have serpent folk, but I'm not going to go over them in detail. We have the bone prophets. This is basically like the whole, not the whole, but the introduction to the serpent folk races for 2nd edition. Slugs, snakes, soul eaters. I never envisioned them like that. But the one that I really want to cover is back here, not the Spriggans. Oh, trolls. We have trolls. I forgot about trolls. Trolls are fun. We have Frost Troll, Cavern Troll, which is kind of a new take on a Cavern Troll for me. We have Two-Headed Troll and the Jotun Trolls. They're all fun in their own right. Jotun Trolls heal, they have Swallow Whole, and they get a number of attacks based off the number of heads they have, which is kind of gross. So, where is it? Oh, here it is. Vampire Virokalas. Vrykolakas. That looks Greek in spelling to me, so maybe it's not. Maybe it's Russian, but they're wicked, vengeful souls. And then they have the basic abilities of Dark Vision, Swift Tracker, Negative Healing. They have the immunities of Death Effects, Disease, Paralyzed, Poison, Sleep. They have Feral Corruption, which is rather lengthy. You can go over that on your own. They have vulnerabilities. They have a burial site bound. They're bound to their burial site. They have they're vulnerable to decapitation. Their climb speed is half its land speed. They have claws, fangs. They drink blood, of course. And then their drain condition works a little bit differently. So let's see here. We don't want the detail. Let's see. So when they drink blood, they can gain hit points 10% of its max. Drinking blood from a creature that's already been drained doesn't restore hit points to a vampire, but it increases the creature's drain condition by 1. Target's drain condition value decreases by 1 per week. A blood transfusion, which requires DC 20 medicine check and sufficient blood or blood donor, reduces the value by 1 after 10 minutes. And then there is, so the rules for creating the vampire are one of the first things you see. And then, of course, there's a master and its master abilities. The spawn. The master. Masters are sinister shape changes. They walk undetected among the living. And then there is the ancient, which ancients are overlords of their kind, stealing blood, breath, and life to feed on the immortal hunger. And that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about in the book. There are a few other things, like there's the Ostiarius, which are emissaries of Valstrax, and you have the Ostarius here. You have the Evangelist. You have the Sarkristan, who doesn't look very happy. And you have this masochist-looking guy who turned himself into a machine, who is the interlocutor. Yeah, I don't know how to say that one. And then you have a couple of funguses, vines, a water orm, a void zombie, which they have a neat little story, and were creatures. And then in the back, after you get through your Wraith Undead, there's a white in here. You have the ability glossary, creature traits, creatures by type, a few rituals for demon packs, weapon traits, things of that nature. And then creatures by level. There you go. It is the Pathfinder Bestiary 2. So who is this book for? Well, it's for GMs that write their own stories and need more types of creatures or new types of ideas. If you want to create a new vampire, that's in here as well. New giants. If you're playing in a campaign that is, or creating a campaign that's undead, fey heavy, giant heavy, or has some of the newer demons and devils, this is definitely a book worth picking up for yourself. Thanks for watching, guys, and have a great day.
Hi guys, meet the Nibbles, who's gonna go down. She just decided not to go down my back, so we'll do this for her so she's comfy. Thanks for watching my video, and I appreciate it. Please hit the like button and share it if you know somebody who might be interested. And of course, there's always Twitter and the Facebook thingy, and soon I have a newsletter coming. That'll be down there or in a link below, and my kitty cat loves that idea. So anyway, there was one more thing. Oh yeah, subscribe. Be a part of my community, our community. Let's make it grow together. See you guys at a con somewhere, or a local store, or if I'm driving through the country, maybe a game club. I don't know. You're not going to go knock down my camera. Bye, guys.